Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, and today we're diving into something incredibly important for every parent, educator, and policymaker. This is arguably the most important video I've created to date. We're talking about the Fraser Institute's school rankings for Ontario. Ever wondered how your child's school stacks up or what those rankings really mean? Stick around because I'm about to explain what's behind these rankings and also what they don't tell you. This information is crucial not only for making informed decisions about education, but also for choosing the right neighborhood. Parents often aim for higher ranking schools, which can significantly influence your real estate choices. And if you want a summary report for Ottawa specifically, just reach out to me and I'll send it to you directly, sorted one through the rest, and all of it sliced and diced for you. Trust me, this information you won't want to miss. Let's go. Okay, the highly anticipated Ontario Secondary School Report is fresh off the press. It has finally been released. So first of all, what exactly does the Fraser Institute do when it comes to school rankings? Well, they're a Canadian think tank that collects data from standard tests like the EQAO assessments here in Ontario. And these tests measure student performance in reading, writing, and mathematics. All right, well, it's important to know that the rankings are based on several performance indicators: average test scores, the percentage of tests below and above the provincial standard, gender gaps in performance, and changes in scores over time. Each school gets a composite score from these indicators, and that score determines their rank. Okay, so the first question I would ask is how the Fraser Institute measures their scores. Standardized test scores obviously are number one, and the main metric in the rankings is student performance on standardized tests. These scores offer a consistent measure of achievement across different schools. Two are the weighted averages. Scores are often weighted to reflect the importance of different subjects or grade levels. So for instance, math scores might carry more weight if math proficiency is seen as a key indicator of overall school performance. Longitudinal data. To track trends, the Institute considers improvements or declines in scores over time. Schools showing consistent improvement may score higher in the rankings. And last but not least, adjustments and comparisons. Adjustments are made to ensure fair comparisons between schools of different sizes and/or demographics. For example, schools with more students with special needs might be evaluated with these factors in mind. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm now presenting my screen like I often do in a lot of my videos, just to give you a bit of context and to show you exactly where to go. If you were to go into the Fraser Institute, click there, let's start there, and then you'll click the button to compare school rankings. It'll bring you right to compareschoolrankings.org, which is presented exactly like this. From there, you can choose to sort through elementary schools here in Ontario and or secondary schools or high schools here in Ontario. And as you can see, there are 689 high schools via this report via the Fraser Institute. So we're going to be comparing and ranking these schools. So the list presents itself. What I did is in the search or in the filters, I just put Ottawa. And for the purposes of my spreadsheet, of course, I extracted all the Ottawa schools and schools in the sort of outskirts of Ottawa. So anything from Russell, Embrun to Rockland and so on that are just outside of the city center or the greater Ottawa area. So from here, you can see the school name, the actual score, where they rank out of 689. And then of course you were to scroll down, you can then compare one school over the other. So for example, if you're in a specific area or looking to move into a particular catchment area, this might help. If you're on the fence between a couple of different properties, this might tilt the scales one way or another, maybe not, if you use this as a data point. If I was to click on any of the schools on the left, for example, I'll just click on De La Salle. De La Salle, it'll give you where they are located geographically speaking on the map. Of course, the scoring system. The score on the top left corner is a 7.5. Therefore, it scores a yellowish font. On my spreadsheet, I've kept it the same. So red, orange, yellow, or green. And of course, the ranking itself, 138 out of 689. Of course, phone information at that point, should you need to call, schedule an appointment, have some interviews, or whatever you feel is appropriate in that given circumstance. Now, it's also important to note that the system itself only allows you to compare up to 6 schools at a time. So quite simply, I would click 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see them populating at the bottom, 5, 6, and obviously toggle the compare now button, press the compare now button, and it'll give you the average score broken down by that school. So that is really the tool itself. And what I've done is I've extracted all the schools on a spreadsheet for you. On one tab, I've populated it by city. So Greater Ottawa area versus Russell versus Rockland and so on. And it's broken down a little bit by subdivision as well, or general area. And then on the second tab, I just took the exact same information, but I just sorted it 1 through however many, just to give you a full ranking here in Ottawa. So I would encourage you just to reach out to me. I've saved you a step by putting it all together for you here in Ottawa. Reach out to me. I'll send it to you, obviously free of charge. That's not the issue. It's more about the information. I would just send that out to you. It'd be my pleasure to do that. So let's jump back into the video. Now, you might be thinking, why should I care about these rankings? Well, let's break down the pros, obviously, and the cons. First, let's start with the pros. One of the biggest advantages of the Fraser Institute rankings is transparency. They provide a clear, data-driven look at how schools are performing, which can be a valuable tool for parents. If you're deciding where to buy a home, knowing that a school has high test scores can give you the confidence in the education your children will receive. From a real estate perspective, homes in top-ranked school districts often have higher property values and greater demand. This can make your investment more secure and potentially more profitable in the long run. However, it's also important to consider the cons. Critics argue that the rankings focus too narrowly on standardized test scores, overlooking other vital aspects of education like arts, physical education, and social development. These are all critical components of a well-rounded education that standardized tests don't capture. Furthermore, the rankings don't fully account for socioeconomic factors that can significantly impact student performance. Schools in more affluent areas often have higher scores, not necessarily because they're better, but because their students have more resources and supports outside of school. And having worked at United Way for 10 years, I know a thing or two about socioeconomic factors and how it influences neighborhoods. These rankings can guide you in making informed decisions about where to live and how to ensure your child gets good education. But remember, they're just one tool amongst many tools. It's also crucial to visit the schools, meet the teachers and the principals, and consider other factors like extracurricular programs and school culture. Okay, now let's look at this from a pure real estate perspective. When choosing a home, think about the school's ranking and how that might affect not only your child's education, but also your property value. High-ranking schools can attract families, boost demand, and drive up home prices in that specific area. And this can make your real estate investment more robust and potentially more lucrative. Sad, but true. When you're buying a home, you're not just investing in property, you're investing in a community. Parents often prioritize areas with top-performing schools, and these neighborhoods can see increased property values and a strong sense of community. Knowing which schools are highly ranked can help you make an informed decision about where to live. All right, I'm gonna wrap up the video here in an effort to keep it relatively short. I hope you enjoyed it. From my perspective, this school ranking system is one data point amongst many data points we gotta consider. So take it for what it is. And I'm gonna ask you to do 2 things. Go to my website at markbelangerrealty.com. On the homepage, a couple of different things. First one is scroll all the way to the very bottom and you'll see a text field. In that text field, just type, send me school rankings or something that would be very obvious to me, and I will email you that school rankings. It's basically a spreadsheet with 2 tabs. It's pretty simple. All the areas of town or outskirts of town clearly marked, or the second tab, which is 1 through however many there are, fully just ranked in order on where those schools are on that list. So I'd be happy to send that to you. Also, you'll be happy to know that in Ottawa, the second highest ranking school is here in Ottawa, in all of Ontario, and it's in an area I pretty much guarantee you would not be expecting here in Ottawa. It's a gifted school, I'll give them that, but it's still ranked number 2 in all of Ontario. So I'll do that for you, I'll send that to you. And the second thing I'll be asking you to do is, again, on my homepage, go to the calendar link and schedule some time with me if you want to tour some of these neighborhoods, you want to talk about some of the schools, you want to talk about the market and finances or anything else that might help you along your journey, don't be shy, reach out to me and I will be happy to help you in your house hunting expedition. So again, really enjoyed putting this video together, and until the next video, take care.